آياته لعلكم تهتدون ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون. صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. That was Mr. Haris Akhtar, a young man from Scarborough. Thank you, Haris, for blessing us with these words. My name is Maniza Sheikh. I am the Communications Director and a board member with the Canadian Muslim Vote. I want to thank everyone for coming out on this very special Friday evening. We have some fantastic guests for you to mix and mingle with. How about a little round of applause for Mr. Nav Bhatia? Like, come on. And the Raptors, right, guys? The Raptors. Because you know what they say? They say there is no Muslim gathering without Nav Bhatia. That's what they always say, right? Well, thank you everyone for making it out on this special Friday evening. So I'd like to start the program, of course, with a land acknowledgement. The Canadian Muslim Vote would like to start the program every single person in this room are the ones who have the right to govern this country. So it's not just about having the right to vote. In town halls, which is also extremely important. It's not just about being elected, and it's not just about protecting minority rights. It's about our organization, TCMV, working tirelessly, relentlessly on a nonpartisan basis at all government levels to do what we can to ensure that our politicians, so many of the politicians in this very room, understand and appreciate the challenges that face different ethnic, religious, and minority communities. It's also about politicians, helping those politicians work hard to cultivate and establish a political climate where all communities, particularly the ones that are vulnerable, are able to maintain their identity. So thank you for joining us today and supporting our organization, which is your organization. VIP guest.
Do I have this on? A testament to the work that we have done to fill this room is how many elected officials that we have. I am very, very proud to announce that we have 75 elected officials in the room today. Thank you for being here. We won't be able to recognize each and every one of you by name, but please stand up so everyone knows who you are, and please, for all of our guests, all of our elected officials, please stand up. And everybody else stand up and give them a standing ovation. I was kidding. That was a joke. Okay, everybody stand up and give them a standing ovation. Thank you so much to our elected officials for being here. But listen, none of this matters if we don't share it on social media. So here's my challenge to you. This doesn't even happen if we aren't sharing it on social media. Our hashtag, which is in your program booklet, is TCMV Dinner. Please take your photos, post them online. Our team will retweet. Here's my challenge to the crowd today. We want TCMV Dinner, hashtag TCMV Dinner, trending across the nation by the end of the night. Trending across the nation. TCMV Dinner, please make sure that you're posting everything.
So I would ask, we have some really phenomenal speakers for you today, and they do deserve your respect. So I would kindly ask that you give them your full attention, when they are speaking. We have one usher per every 3 tables, so don't be the person that gets shushed. Because even to those 75 elected officials, we love you, but we're not afraid to shush you, okay guys? Now, the agenda is short, and as always, TCMV is known for its fun late night food station. So we are going to have some more food for you guys to munch on afterwards. A lot of fun things coming up. We've got a fantastic silent auction in the back. And wait for it, we are again giving away 6 flights with Flair Airlines. So we definitely want you guys to stick around for that. So now it is my absolute honor to present Mayor John Tory, born and raised in Toronto. This man has given his life to the city that he loves and has been a champion for diversity and inclusion way before it became trendy. So give it up for John Tory, guys.
Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak to one and all. The Prime Minister, who I know is going to be with us shortly, and NDP Leader Singh, Deputy Conservative Leader Lisa Raitt, and fellow elected representatives, and I will draw special attention, if I may, to my City Council colleagues who are here, Brad Bradford, Jim Karagianis, Shelley Carroll, and Jennifer McKelvey, and I'm very pleased to be here with them. Meniza, thank you for the introduction. I've been getting a lot of hassle tonight about the fact I didn't wear my Raptors jacket. Today I did an interview and a person asked me all day why I hadn't sent it to the dry cleaners before now, and I said because I was afraid it was going to disintegrate. I should tell you I offered to lend it to the Prime Minister at the occasion of the rally on Monday, and he said that he thought it wasn't his size, which I assumed was either a comment on the jacket that he didn't really want to wear or on my weight, but I'm not sure which is which. Friends, I have the honor to be up here first and to say, welcome to all of the elected representatives, and how much it is, I hope, a gesture of our respect and our affection that we are here to say thank you to the Canadian Muslim vote for their ongoing efforts to promote healthy civic and political engagement. The dinner is timely as it comes during the celebration of Eid and immediately following the holy month of Ramadan. And like many in this room who are not Muslim, I once again had a chance this year to see during the month of Ramadan the discipline, the sacrifice, the reflection, the generosity, the spirituality, all on display. I saw the tenets of Islam up close at iftar dinners, which I attended, I think, more than half a dozen, 6 or 7, and without exception, they were raising money to feed the hungry or raising money for hospitals and a host of other things. I met once again this year during Ramadan thousands of hardworking Torontonians, people going to work every day, raising good children, volunteers, leaders in their communities across the city who spent a holy month reflecting and fasting and contributing. And I had only the smallest sense of that sacrifice and self-discipline when I fasted for one day during Ramadan as a sign of my own respect and affection for this faith community. Now, nobody told me that I could eat and drink right up to the moment just before sunrise on the day I was fasting. So I started fasting at 9 o'clock the night before, so I ended up fasting for about 24 hours. I will tell you, I was okay, but I was somewhat fatigued in the afternoon, and I'm sure it's an experience those of you who fast for a month are very familiar with. I was at the time when I felt most fatigued around 4 o'clock in a meeting concerning the TTC. So if you see any transit problems coming up now, it may be a function of that fatigue that I felt. I say that even in front of our new Minister of Transportation, Caroline Mulrooney, who I want to have her to understand that I'm always paying full attention at all times in all transit meetings. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, the more iftar dinners I've attended over the years, the more Friday prayers I've attended, the more food bags that I've helped to pack at the Muslim Welfare Center up in Scarborough, I've learned of the foundational values of the Islamic faith and the personal qualities of the followers. And I've seen that the values of the faith and the people are very similar to the values and the people of other faiths, which comes as no big revelation. But I think it is something that we nonetheless have to convey through continuous exposure and education to help bring an end to stigmatization and to stereotyping that are still experienced far too often by Muslims in Toronto and I'm sure elsewhere in the country. As I have done with all forms of hatred and discrimination and stereotyping, joined by the other elected representatives in this room, I know without exception, I've spoken out repeatedly to say that anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and anti-black racism and all other forms of discrimination have no place in Toronto. This is not a part of the way we live. And we have to make sure, every one of us, way beyond the elected representatives, that we're vigilant and outspoken on this, because these things could strike at the very heart of our much admired way of life. One of the ways in which we will accomplish the vigilance and the advocacy and the protection of our values is through political engagement. That is really very much the topic of discussion tonight and the purpose of this organization, and that is why I'm so much grateful for the work of Canadian Muslim Votes. Civic engagement, as was just said a minute ago, not limited to voting, not limited to seeking office, not limited to election campaigns. Civic engagement lies at the heart of a healthy, well-informed, legitimate democratic process. And it will likely help us with 2 more significant challenges I want to mention in concluding. The first is the continuing challenge of trying to ensure that our democratic institutions look like and sound like and reflect what is, in the case of Toronto, the most diverse city in the world. I will have to say to you that I would start as Exhibit A of an organization that does not look like and sound like and reflect the people it represents is the Toronto City Council. We are nowhere near where we have to be in terms of representing the people who live in the most diverse city in the world. And that's not healthy. And I know that the work that is being done by this organization will help to address that, and it will also help to ensure that everybody's voice is heard. The second challenge is one of ensuring that the voices of polarization and division never stand out as the only voices that people end up hearing. And that too makes it our responsibility to make sure that we do more than just shake our heads and bemoan the fact that people are trying to polarize us in a way that history has repeatedly shown is destructive and goes against the fundamental value of inclusion, which lies at the heart of the history of our country and of our treasured citizenship. Our collective voices, raised not only in a way which challenges those who would divide and polarize, but also in a positive way about the blessings that immigration and diversity and pluralism and inclusion have brought to our country. They're everything in terms of what we're seen as standing for around the world. Those collective voices must be heard, and must be heard so that it isn't the only voice that is the voice of division and polarization that we are hearing. No one can hear us if we don't speak up. I want to use this opportunity to say one final thing directly related to the Canadian Muslim Votes mandate, which does have to do in part with increased engagement in elections. I hope and I pray that the next elections that take place in this country, and I guess in order, the one that I would face is the third one that comes almost a full 4 years from now, but there's a federal election, of course, as we know this year, and a provincial election getting closer by the day. And I hope that those elections will consist of a discourse and a dialogue that we can be proud of, and steer well clear of the rhetoric and policies that even tilt slightly in the direction of the division being promoted elsewhere. If we succumb to that for attempted partisan advantage, I don't think it will work, but more than that, it runs the risk of doing damage to a way of life that is still far from perfect, but is nonetheless the envy of the world. People come here, yes they do, for jobs and opportunity. They come here for education for their children and a host of other reasons, not including the weather. But I believe the main reason they choose Toronto in particular, and Canada, is because we have an accepting, respectful, inclusive way of life. And election or not, we must not put that at risk. I'm no stranger to elections, and the pressure that one is under to gain advantage during elections is immense. But I have a few moments as far back in my 50 years of involvement which don't show me at my best. But if we engage as Canadians and we do it correctly and we exchange ideas in an honest, non-polarizing way, then I think elections can allow us, as well they should, an opportunity to protect and strengthen our core values, which in turn will help us to remain right here, the greatest city in the greatest country in the world in which to live. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.
The Canadian Muslim vote is nonpartisan, educating the community and engaging the community to make sure that we have a louder voice.
Being a Canadian citizen, it's important to be involved in your community, to look out for the community, for the causes that are important.
We have to represent the values that we stand for, right? And so if we're not going to vote and we're not going to make a difference, then in the end, the result is not going to be towards our benefit and for the community as well. So if we're trying to make a difference in the community overall, affecting everyone, then we have to make a difference. We have to go out there and we have to vote.
We are in a democratic society and we have a right to vote.
If you don't vote, you have no voice. So voting is very important. We need to get out in numbers and cast our votes to make ourselves heard. It does make a difference. Every vote counts.
The Muslim community is strong. There's so many of us who have votes and we don't utilize them. If we're not voting, then we're letting parties that we don't want in. It doesn't matter who you vote for at the end of the day, but it matters that you are voting and that you are making your voice heard.
Voting is the most important thing that we can do. It's step one in the democratic process. Nothing else matters if you don't vote, because you can't complain if you don't vote. You can't protest if you don't vote.
This is a time where we can really show how we feel and what we think.
There's more things that we agree about than we disagree about, and when we realize that, we can help build a better society, a society of understanding, of brotherhood, of sisterhood, and of good neighborly relations, regardless of faith or creed or gender.
One of the best parts about being the executive director is you get to choose the last shot of the video, right? That was a little close though, wasn't it? When I joined this organization and left my family business, sorry Dad, I did so not just because I saw the value in what this organization would bring to the Muslim community. That wasn't it. It was what I saw that us as a Muslim community can give to Canada. Canada's democracy is only as strong as we make it. Canada's democracy is only as strong as we make it. And the depth of our involvement will be a direct reflection of whether or not democracy is representing us and our needs and our concerns and our dreams and our ambitions. That's why I joined the Canadian Muslim Vote, because I saw it as so much bigger. This is such a beautiful mosaic. Our country is such a beautiful mosaic. This room is a beautiful mosaic of cultures. The Canadian Muslims communities, not Canadian Muslim community, but the Canadian Muslim communities that represent the Muslim community are all here in the Canadian Muslim Vote. The Canadian Muslim Vote has brought them all together into this room today. And the reason that I love this country so much is because it's a country that promises us, every one of us, every single group, every single community, promises us a seat at the table. And they say that if the table is too full, we will make a bigger table for you so that you can have a seat at it. That is Canada. That is why democracy is so important. We, as Canadian Muslims, are at a point in our history, a point in our progression in this country where we are being told, you can have a seat at the table, but you need to bring the chair. And that's what we're doing right now. That's what the Canadian Muslim Vote is doing right now. We are bringing the chair to the table, and I know some of you are saying or thinking, look around the room. We already have a chair at the table. We're doing good, aren't we? We are doing good. In 2015, when this organization started, we had a Muslim voter turnout of 79% across Canada. And it was even higher in the ridings that the Canadian Muslim Vote was active. In the Ontario election in 2018, we had a 69%, Main Street reported, 69% Muslim voter turnout, 11 points higher than the provincial average in Ontario, and even higher in the ridings that the Canadian Muslim Vote was active. We're doing good, right? But what is happening? Every time that we take 2 steps forward, what is happening on the other side? What have we seen since 2015? Look around the world. What's happening around the world? We see a rise in Islamophobia. We see a rise or a platform for the alt-right, some of whom joined us today in the back. We see a rise in violence against our community members. And I know we're thinking, but not in our backyard, Canada's different, right? Canada's different. Let me remind you of January 29th, 2017, where 6 of our brothers were shot in a mosque in your backyard. Let me remind you of when we did visit my mosque in October of 2018, and the night before I had a request come in that said, please remove our name from the website. We're no longer participating because we're afraid of who might show up at the door. That's in your backyard. And that is why it is so important for us to strengthen democracy in this country. So when I say that we need a chair at the table, it's not because we want a chair at the table for the sake of having a chair at the table. It's because we want to make the table stronger. And when we have a chair at the table, we make the table stronger. The Canadian Muslim Vote does so much more than just this dinner. This is our flagship event, but we do so much more than that. We're spreading education across this country. We're breaking down barriers. We're knocking doors. We have our youth internships. And the reason that we're doing all of that is so that at least when my time is done as executive director, we'll look around and we'll look around at this state and we'll say, in the year of the most important election in the history of Canadian Muslims, 2019, the most important election in the history of Canadian Muslims, that we made a pledge that we supported the organization that was breaking down barriers, that is breaking down walls and building bridges with communities, building bridges with all political parties, building bridges with representatives from every single part of the country so that our stories are heard, our interests are recognized, our issues are on the table. And that's what we're doing with Canadian Muslim Vote. When my time is done with this organization, we will look back. We will look back and we will see volunteers with every single level of government and every single party in Canada. We will see staff with every level of government and every single party in Canada. And we'll see candidates, because representation does matter, from every single party and every single level of government. And that starts today. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, because we are fighting for ideas that mean something to us. We're fighting for ideas so that our ideas are there. And so today, when I ask you for your pledge, when I ask you to support us and this organization, when I ask you to donate, I'm asking you because I'm trying to flip the slide. I'm asking you because it's not about one chair. It's not. It's not about one chair. It's about us having multiple chairs. So when you're making a contribution to us today, you're doing so because we want to grow. We need more chairs. You're saying, yes, we want more chairs in Quebec. Yes, we want a chair in Vancouver. Yes, we want Alberta. Yes, we want Calgary. Yes, we want Ontario. Yes, we want Toronto. We want multiple chairs across this country. And the only way that we're going to do that is if we have your support. I can't stress to you enough about the work that we have to do in this election across the country. We need to grow a team. We need more staff. We need representatives in every single part of the province. We need to knock more doors. We need to make more literature. We need to make more educational pieces so that we can break down those barriers, and that costs money. And so today I'm asking you, you'll look around your table and you will see on your table 10 pens. Guess why there's 10 pens? One for each of you. I want each and every single one of you not to leave today without making a contribution, no matter how big or small. And I'll tell you what, here's the kicker. If you donate $25 a month or $300 as a one-time donation, you're going to get a pair of these awesome halal socks. Canadian Muslim Vote halal socks, right? Now, we can offer you a lot, but that is the kicker right there, isn't it? And we're here to answer your questions, guys. We are. We're here to answer your questions, and I'd like to take a quick minute to recognize the board of the Canadian Muslim Vote, because these guys, from the inception of this organization till what we see today, these guys have done a tremendous amount of work. The fabric of this community in every single level. Please do not leave without making a contribution today. We have people in the hall that will be collecting your donation cards in boxes. Please make sure you put them in, take one of your vouchers, and redeem them for socks on your way out. Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to call up Muniza back up to the stage. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening so attentively. Sorry I screamed a little bit.
Thank you so much, Ali. So now it is my pleasure to introduce our title sponsor for the Canadian Muslim Vote Dinner. Second year in a row, Flair Airlines is Canada's first ultra-low-cost airline and the last G7 country to have a ULCC airline. So it's pretty awesome that we had the entire Flair board come down. We have Jim from Vancouver. We've got a number of the board members from Miami and New York. So a big round of applause for Flair Airlines, please. Jim, take it away. Here you go. I'll leave you up here.
Thank you very much, Muniza. And you know, we really like to give a thanks to everybody that has volunteered to put this great event on. We are so proud to sponsor this event again this year, and I don't know if anybody knows it, but we're very, very honored to have Muniza on our board of directors. And that's our commitment to diversity. And we consider ourselves to be one of the most diverse airlines as far as our passenger base than anybody in Canada. And that comes from our caring and are really the background of our people that are on our airline. But I'd like to thank the guests tonight and all of the politicians that have come to support this dinner. And at the end of this dinner, we will be giving out tickets to the quietest table during my speech. We'll be giving out 6 tickets anywhere we fly. So the question is, where do we fly? Firstly, who knows of Flair Airlines? Hands up. Hands up. Great. Well, we want everybody to know at the end of today. So out of Toronto, we fly to Halifax, we fly to Winnipeg, we fly to Edmonton, we fly to Calgary, we fly to Vancouver, Abbotsford, and Kelowna. And we have a fleet of 737 aircraft, and we've flown 1 million passengers in the last year. And we've done that at airfares 40% below what you would normally pay. And yeah, a big round of applause for that, 40%, 1 million passengers. And it's done because of the people up at our head table here that have put their money, they have put their time, and they have put their effort into bringing Canadians affordable airfare, something that and he'll be on stage here shortly, but he is a very, very prominent lawyer, but a very accomplished social activist. He has a proven record of leadership but community empowerment. Born in Somalia and raised in Somalia, he came to Canada in big hand there. He immigrated to Canada in 1993, where he came to the Regent Park area of Toronto and quickly became an advocate. In 2002, he co-founded the Regent Park Community Council and was able, and I don't know how he did this because I want to know, to secure a $500 million restoration program for the Regent Park area. He's also served as the national president of the Canadian Somali Congress, which is an organization that advances the interests and the joining together of the Somalian community with the Canadians. The second minister I would like to talk about as they come on to stage here shortly is the Honourable Marion Monseft, who is the Member of Parliament for Peterborough, and if I get it right, it's Kewarfa? Slow, okay. But this is the important thing. She's the Minister of International Development and also the Minister for Women and Gender Equality. Yes. After running for mayor in 2014, she became the first woman to be elected in her riding, and she is the first Afghan-Canadian Member of Parliament in Canadian history. So we have a history maker. But also, she is the first Muslim to ever serve in a federal cabinet position. So big hand there. In her roles, she has secured major investment for Canada's equality with women's movement, including $200 million to prevent and address gender-based violence, and $100 million to help the women's rights organizations throughout Canada. I'm very pleased to introduce our 2 ministers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's so great to be back here with friends, colleagues. We have a great team, and they're going to take a few minutes, a few seconds to come up and join us. When you have a big team, it takes a little bit longer than usual, so bear with us.
I'm delightful.
Fantastic. So I'll get started. I want to begin by really thanking
asked this question, it was simple. I'm running because Peterborough Kawartha gave my family and I a second chance, and I want to give back. And the second question that I got was, why are you running with Justin Trudeau? Because I could relate to him, because I know I could go and talk to him and come to a solution if something was wrong, or make things better, even though they're pretty good right now. And I Googled the team that was standing around him. And the team that is standing with him today tells a lot about who he is and what he stands for. And what we've been able to achieve together has been because of the strength of our leader, the strength of our team, and Canadians like you who put us there. And he was there for us in good times and in hard times. He was there when there was a fire at the masjid in Peterborough. He was there when the massacre in Quebec happened. He was there when the massacre in New Zealand happened, standing up in the House of Commons and calling on world leaders to come together so that we can no longer come together and cry, because we can prevent these tragedies from happening. And those world leaders did come together, and they are moving forward together, and he's with us for Eid dinners and for iftars and for meetings, and he listens and he moves things forward. He's been there for us, and I have to tell you, my Muslim sisters and brothers, I hope and pray that you will be there for him. And he's here tonight. So please welcome to the stage the Right Honourable Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Assalamu alaikum. I've been asked by everyone to ask the folks who are standing to please sit down and please grab a seat. Please take a seat, everyone. I've been asked by the organizers for safety's sake. Eid Mubarak! It's a wonderful honor for me to be here with you all tonight to celebrate Eid al-Fitr. Merci Mariam et Ahmed pour le bel accueil. Not only from Toronto, Salma Zahid,
and Ikra Khalid, Gagan Sikand, and Sven Spengdeman in Mississauga. Or incredible local leaders like Adam Van Couverden in Milton and Anita Anand in Oakville. And let me give a huge shout out to everyone who's helped set up tonight's event and to the remarkable work of the Canadian Muslim Vote. What a wonderful example of how this community brings people together. Because when an organization like this gets 2.5 million people talking about being politically engaged, because that's the number of folks the Canadian Muslim Vote has reached in the last 4 years alone, there can be no doubt about the power of grassroots volunteers. Your dedication to our democracy is inspirational and makes our country better. Thank you. It is absolutely vital. After all, it's hard to think of a time where getting involved in politics was more important. We live in a world where the pace of change is taking us forward faster than ever before, lifting thousands of people out of poverty, inspiring young innovators, and helping our communities thrive. But at the same time, we're facing a pushback. Political movements that see change as a threat. Leaders who are allowing intolerance to fester in the corner of their parties. Individuals who want to spread cynicism and sow division. And far too often, and you know this, Muslim communities bear the brunt of that backlash. Les Canadiens musulmans, comme tous les Canadiens, sont encore sous le choc des attentats impensables qui ont eu lieu à Christchurch et à Sainte-Foy. Lorsque nos voisins et nos amis sont tués à cause de gestes de violence insensés, on ne peut pas juste offrir nos pensées et nos prières. Il faut qu'on tire des leçons de ces tragédies parce qu'on peut et on doit agir. The politics of division can only take root if we turn away from one another. Hate can only creep into the mainstream if we don't speak up. This is the moment to call out discrimination and racism in every form. This is the time to stand strong against Islamophobia. It's up to us to make sure that our places of worship are free from violence and our neighbors live free from fear. Around the world, people are looking to Canada to lead the way. We are the home of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, a place where everyone is equal, a country where we celebrate the differences that make us stronger, because when everyone participates, we all do better. That's something I see every day when we benefit from the contributions of folks like Gary Anandasangari, Jean Yip, Ruby Sahota, and Majid Jahari. Bien sûr, le fait qu'on valorise au Canada les différentes perspectives des gens n'est pas le fruit du hasard. C'est grâce à des Canadiens courageux qui ont tenu tête à ceux qui voulaient nous diviser et qui ont ouvert leurs bras et leur cœur à ceux qui cherchaient une vie meilleure. Ils nous ont mis sur la bonne voie et c'est maintenant à nous de continuer à aller de l'avant. Et c'est ici, mes amis, que vous entrez en jeu. We are only a few months out from an election, and I think it's fair to say that there's a lot at stake. It's up to you to choose where you want our country to go from here, whether we continue to move forward or we go backward. Because you know as well as I do that we don't make progress by pitting Canadian against Canadian or citizen against citizen. No, we move forward when we work together towards a common goal. A better Canada for everyone, regardless of the color of their skin or the way they pray. Just look around the room at the people here this evening. Every day, Muslim Canadians like you raise money for those in need or lead the way in business or in the arts, and you build the kind of country where we all want to live. This community is a testament to the fact that diversity is our strength, and your voices deserve to be heard. So regardless of what party you support, get out there and get involved. Absolutely, make sure to vote, but don't stop there. Knock on doors and talk to neighbors. Volunteer with incredible organizations like the Canadian Muslim Vote. This is your chance to make sure that your leaders and representatives are listening to you and working on your behalf. If you're concerned about the changing job market and what it means for your kids' future, talk to your local candidate about prioritizing skills training for young people. In fact, we have an expert here in Minister Duncan, who's been working hard on creating more co-op placements for students. And if you're thinking about how to start your own business, figure out which party has a real plan for the middle class. On that front, Minister Ng can tell you all about new opportunities for entrepreneurs. I know you never again want to see Islamophobia used as a strategy at the ballot box, because all Canadians deserve so much better. So tonight, at this wonderfully political event, I want to ask you to do something for me. And many of you in various events over the years will have heard me ask this of you again, but I think tonight is an important moment to really impress it upon all of you. And I'm asking it of you not as leader of the Liberal Party, but as Prime Minister of all Canadians. I know Muslim Canadians, like all Canadians, are a diverse group, encompassing a wide range of views and perspectives. So I know not all of you agree with me on everything. Maybe you're a little to the right of me politically. Maybe you know someone who is. Maybe you have a friend who doesn't like that I raised taxes on the wealthy, because I did. Or maybe you have a cousin who thinks I'm doing way too much to protect the environment, because I am doing a lot. I'm sure some of you know Muslim Canadians who will vote Conservative in the upcoming election. So here's what I'm asking, even though it'll make my life as Liberal leader a little more difficult. I want you to encourage Conservative Muslims to get out and help their local Conservative candidate, to go knock doors, to donate to the Conservative Party, to attend a rally for the Conservative leader. In other words, I want you to make Muslim volunteers important to the Conservatives, so that never again will any mainstream party in Canada think it's a good idea to stoke fears and division against Muslims or any other group of Canadians. My friends, I made you a promise many, many years ago. Our government will always stand with you and with all Muslim Canadians in condemning Islamophobia and all forms of hate at home and abroad. We will be there. In defending the fact that a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian, we will be there. On va être là pour défendre la liberté de chacun, là pour défendre les droits des femmes et le droit de chacun de choisir ce qu'il porte et comment il pratique sa foi. C'est la promesse que je vous fais. That is our commitment to you, from Pam Damoff in Burlington, to Deb Schulte in Vaughan, to Rob Oliphant here in Toronto, from Ali El-Hassi, Omar El-Kabra, Bob Ratina, and Job McKay. But it's not something we can do alone. We need you to keep speaking up and showing up. And there's no doubt you'll come across cynics who will try to convince you that your voice doesn't matter and that you can't make a difference. Well, your voice does matter, and you will make a difference. If you look around and see things that you want changed, get involved. That's how we push back against the politics of division. That's how we protect jobs and grow our economy. And that's how we build a better future for all. Thank you, everyone. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. May peace and blessings be upon you. Eid Mubarak. Merci tout le monde. Thank you, guys. Great to see you all here.
Hey.
Okay, you know, he's in here though. Asma, has he left? He's left? Okay, everyone, if we can kindly get you to please take your seats. As I had mentioned earlier, we do have a relatively short program and we're coming towards the end of it. So I would kindly ask, and yes, I know there are some amazing VIPs in here who will be spending the remainder of the evening with us. We would like to wrap up by Maghrib time, inshallah. So please take your seats. I'm thinking I'm going to give the mic to Nav Bhatia and tell him to tell everyone to take their seats. Because I feel like they'll listen to him. Oh dear. All right, folks. Oh, they won't listen to me. They won't listen.
All right, let me give it a roll. Here we go, guys. I need everyone to get back to your seats. I'm going high school DJ on you now. Let's go. Everyone to your seats, please. I promise you, we have the entire evening to meet all of our wonderful, wonderful esteemed guests. Please make your way to your seats. Please make your way to your seats. All right, you know what? You guys aren't listening to me. I'm going to have to call in a backup plan. Ladies and gentlemen, Nav Bhatia, super fan in the house with Muhammad Fakir.
Hello, guys. Eid Mubarak, first of all, to everyone. Did you all get your Eid gift? I got mine. I got the championship. That was my Eid. And it Raptor friends here? Okay. I'm going to say one time, let's go Raptors, and after that we all sit down. Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors! I request you all, humbly please sit down and let's continue the program. Thank you very much.
Oh, we gotta do better than that. Folks, we gotta do better than that. Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors! Let's go to your seats now! Let's go to your seats, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, folks, so we wanted to take a moment to thank some of our fantastic sponsors. So our title sponsor, of course, Flair Airlines, Islamic Relief, a great video from Islamic Relief, Ryerson University, right over here. Lemon LLP, that's where I work, Lemon LLP, right over there. RBC, Safari Phone, CNC, KCMC, the Muslim Welfare Center, and Project Ramadan, Maple Lodge.
We've got so many wonderful organizations that support us. Thank you to all of the sponsors, of course. Human Concern is here. NCCM is here. Unifor, Sergeant Farms, IDRF, One World Halal. Thank you so much to all of our wonderful sponsors, and there's also sponsors who have contributed in kindly. Thank you so much for all of your efforts. We wouldn't be able to put on an event of this magnitude if we did not have the support of our community partners, and it means so much to us to have that support. Thank you.
And one of our sponsors, you'll notice, Patil, we have these delicious baked cookies. Please remember to take them home. They're absolutely delicious. Brand new Canadian business, so we've got all the good flavors sitting out here. So please do enjoy and spread the word.
Absolutely, folks. I am going to ask you for your attention, please. Also on your tables, for those of you who are wondering what the yellow boxes are, those are your Canadian Muslim vote phone magnets that go into your events. So make sure you take that and remember Canadian Muslim vote when you're driving safely without using your phone. I do want to quickly say that one of the best stories that I have about the Canadian Muslim vote is the story of Islamic Relief and how our strategic partnership with an organization like that has shown us that the work that we do at Canadian Muslim Vote can lay the way to so many of our organizations, our institutions, our mosques, and our communities because of the reporting that we do when we're done elections. So that we share information about the Muslim community and how we are voting so that every single one of us can turn around and say to our elected officials and to our communities that we are there. We are present and we will be at the polls. Please watch this video from Islamic Relief, and please, I need all of your attention, please. Everybody have a seat, and roll the video.
myself and all members of the Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, I was grateful that the Prime Minister, as the Prime Minister this evening, encouraged many of you to be Conservative volunteers this year. We welcome you with open arms. We have many of you already, and we're grateful for the hard work and the great advice that we receive each and every day in our neighborhoods, in our offices, and within our party as well. There are many proud Conservative Muslims out there here in the GTA and across the country. I'm so grateful to be able to be here tonight on behalf of our leader, Andrew Scheer, and I look forward very much to continue the dialogue at those doors, and fundamentally, in any way that we can help you to get the vote out. We stand here as your servants because as politicians, we serve you, you don't serve us. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call up all of the members of caucus from the federal NDP party to the stage, and as I introduce the leader of the federal NDP, Jagmeet Singh, there's a couple of things I didn't even know. Jagmeet was born in Scarborough, but he lived in St. John's, Newfoundland, and grew up in Windsor. In 2011, he was elected as a member of provincial parliament, and in 2017 was elected as the leader of the NDP. Please give us a round of applause for the honorable leader of the NDP, Jagmeet Singh.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. I'm going to ask some of my provincial colleagues to come up here. They'll make their way up, and I'll give some acknowledgement as they come up. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. It is an incredible honor to be here with you today. And I'm going to talk to you a little about what's at stake in the upcoming election. I'm going to talk about some recent events that have occurred and what we need to do, I think, collectively to respond to those. Some of my colleagues have joined me, and I want to acknowledge them. It's really helpful that they're on the screen right here. Don't look back. I will look back as well. I want to acknowledge the Deputy Leader of the Ontario New Democratic Party, Sarah Singh. We have Faisal Hassan, Tom Vukocevic, and Rima Burns McGowan, all dear friends and great champions, and I'm sure folks that you know really well. I also want to add my voice to acknowledge that we are on the National Indigenous Day celebration gathered on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, the Huron, the Wendat, and the Mississaugas in New Credit. I think it's important for us to acknowledge the lands we're gathered on. We gather here to learn from each other, to share, to grow. But we also need to acknowledge the ongoing injustice that these Indigenous communities, the first people of this land, continue to face, and commit to justice for these people, to justice for the first people of these lands. I also want to take a second to acknowledge everyone in the room. Everyone in this room does incredible work in your communities to make our country a better place. We've heard from Islamic Relief. I know there's a number of Islamic Relief folks in the room. I know there's a number of members of the NCCM here. I know they're in the back. Shout out to the NCCM. Great work they do as the National Council of Canadian Muslims. There's so many organizers and activists in this room that give so much of themselves, and I want to acknowledge that and thank you for everything you do. I want to talk a little bit about what's at stake in the next election. And what's at stake is, we've heard previous politicians talk about Islamophobia. We of course are going to denounce that, and we need to come together and denounce that collectively. That should be a given at this point. I want you to know on a personal level, as a brother with a beard and a turban, you can probably imagine that I faced a lot of Islamophobia. Right? But I also want you to know that as a proud, you heard my story, I grew up in lots of different places. I grew up in Windsor and had a very vibrant Lebanese community. Shout out to my Lebanese brothers and sisters. Kibat, Bibik, hope you're doing well. One of my best friends was Philippe Mansour, and when we would go out and hang out in the city or hang out together, people would come up to me and say Islamophobic things and be aggressive and want to attack me. And he always felt bad afterwards, and he said, you know, I wish they wouldn't do that to you. And I looked at him and said, Philippe, you're my best friend. You think I would would ever say, hey, not me, go after my best friend instead. And I want you to know that that was obvious because he's my best friend. But on a principle level, every time I've been faced with Islamophobia, my answer has never been, I'm not a Muslim, because my answer has always been, hate is wrong, no matter where it comes from, no matter what its from is. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what's at stake when we talk about Islamophobia. It's one thing to address the policies. We've got to denounce policies that are Islamophobic, the dog whistle politics that create division. We've got to denounce those. But I want to make an argument to you that there's a greater root to where the climate for hate is grown. It's grown in the precarity and the fear that many Canadians face. I've traveled across this country and I can tell you that there are many, many Canadians that are worried about the future. We saw a recent report that said that 50% of Canadians, half of Canadians, that means 1 in 2 people you meet in a day, reports that they are just $200 away from losing it all. And so when there's fear of the future, when people are in precarious situations, when people are worried about finding a place to live, paying for their bills, when they're worried about making ends meet, it's easy for someone to come around and say, you know what, you're worried and afraid, it's because of those new colleagues in your job. It's because of those new people that moved into your neighborhood. It's easy for people to exploit that fear and precarity and to blame people who are not at fault. And that's what I say to you, if we really want to tackle the roots of fear, the roots where the climate for hate is allowed to grow and where we can see the exploitation of people, we need to get at economic injustice. And that's why I make the argument to you that we need to tackle the fact that people can't find housing. We need to tackle the reality that people can't pay their bills and people can't find the medication. If we tackle economic insecurity, it is a concrete way to go at the roots of the exploitation that people who are afraid get turned towards the wrong victims. And I'll just say very clearly, we're in this position because of choices made by governments. Governments, both conservative and liberal governments, have chosen to help the profits of the most powerful over helping everyday folks. And that's the reality, and that's what we see. And so you've got to have the courage to take on the powerful if you want to lift up people. And that's what we're committed to do. And I'll tell you why it matters to me. I'll tell you a really personal story, why it's important to me on a personal level. I shared my story recently, but I went through a lot of difficulties in my life. My family went through a lot of hardship. My dad was severely addicted to alcohol, and it meant that he wasn't able to work. He lost his license. Our family went through moments where we had the collection agents calling our home. My mom was too afraid to pick up the phone, so she'd ask me to do it. I remember hearing the phone and people yelling and saying, we need you to pay these bills, and it was tough. And I remember what it's like when we lost our home. We had nowhere to go. We had to call up relatives to ask them for help. And then some relatives were in a tough situation themselves and had to say no to me. And I can imagine how hard it was for them to say no when I wanted to find a place for my family to live. I can tell you when my dad was down and out, doctors said that he didn't have much of a chance to live. He was a 180-pound, broad-shouldered, tough guy that got down to about 110 pounds. He was moving around with a walker and was at the hospital. I told him he had very little chance of living. And he said, I want to live. And he had the courage to want to get help. It was a publicly funded rehabilitation center that saved his life. And it saved our family in a lot of ways. And that's why I believe that your economic status, your job, the amount of money you earn should not determine how much access to service you have. And that's why I believe in a Canada where everyone can fulfill their dreams, and that's why we want a historic expansion of our healthcare system to include mental health care, addiction care, trauma care for all, vision care, dental care, eye care. These are things we can do. We want to make it a reality. Now there's going to be people that say that it's not possible. There are people that say that you can't do it. That's exactly what they said when we first brought in Medicare. We have the courage to say no to those doubters, to those haters. We have the courage to say yes, we can and we will, because we have the conviction and the belief that this is possible. And it's going to be possible because we are truly going to ask the people at the very top, the richest of the wealthiest folks, to contribute a bit more. And they're ready to do that. I'm going to ask them to contribute a bit more to building this better society. We know it's possible, and we're going to do it together. I want to touch on two last points, and then I'm going to wrap up with a story. On the specific note of Islamophobia, while I talked about the roots where the precarity and fear can be exploited to start to blame people who are not to be blamed, I also want to point out that our hate crime laws need to be stronger. We need to be able to identify hate crime when it happens. It needs to be prosecuted as a hate crime. We need to keep registries. We need to enforce this with stronger regulations and stronger language to ensure that those who commit hate crimes feel the full power of prosecution to be denounced for those crimes. And I want to touch on a bill that was obviously neglected by previous speakers, something that just happened, and I'm standing in front of a crowd of Muslim brothers and sisters. I think it would be unconscionable not to mention this. Also, it affects my brothers and sisters, but it's something that affects Canadians. And that's a bill that was passed in Quebec, Bill 21. And I want to tell you that it's something I clearly denounce, all of us in this room denounce, and it is a hurtful, wrong-headed decision. But I want to give you the human face of this story. I met a woman today, just earlier today, we were talking about Bill 21 and what it meant to her. She's a young woman that lived in Montreal. She wears a hijab. We bonded on the fact that we're both head wrap brothers and sisters. And she talked to me about the fact that she had lived in Quebec, she lived in Montreal. And she grew up in a community now where she goes back, she knows that she could not become a teacher. She could not become a judge or a prosecutor, and she could not become a police officer if she chose to. And it's particularly important because she told me a story. She said when she was young in high school, in grade 12, she decided she wanted to wear her hijab. And she went to her teacher the first day she started wearing hijab, and she said, I feel a little bit nervous, kids are looking at me funny, I'm feeling a bit unwelcome, I don't feel like I belong. And the teacher said to her, teacher, mind you, was Mr. C. He was a white guy from Nova Scotia, and he said to her, to Malaika, she said to her, you belong. Your hijab is beautiful, you should wear it, you should wear it proudly. You are exactly what it means to be Canadian. You deserve to be here, you belong to be here. What a powerful story. And to think that Malaika now is being told by the government in Quebec that no, she doesn't belong. It's sad. It's a sad day. It's a hurtful day. That is the type of law that is divisive. And you know what it does as well? It suggests to people when we have this belief that government should protect people, particularly marginalized people. It says to people that, yes, you can be judged on the way you look, that yes, you can be told that you don't belong because of the way you look, because we look up to teachers. And to be told that you can't be a teacher, maybe someone doesn't want to be a teacher, but the idea is that someone you respect, that you can't be someone you respect, that you're being told that you don't belong. And so I just want you to know that I'm not afraid to say this here in front of all of you. I'm going to say it in Quebec as well. That bill is wrong. We're going to fight against it. It is something that should have no place in our country, no place in any country. It is wrong, and I will stand against it with you brothers and sisters. Because I believe our job as leaders is to bring people together, to truly bring people together. And that's why I told you my personal story, why I believe in social programs and social services, because I think that brings us together. That's why I believe in lifting each other up, because I think we're all better when all of us rise together. I know this is going to be a tough election. I know there's going to be tough battles ahead of us. I want to leave you with one story. It's a story that my mom always tells me. If I ever ask my mom how she's doing, she'd always say to me as a kid as well, and she still says it, she'd always say to me, Beta, which means dear, I'm in Chardi Kala. And I said, oh, what's Chardi Kala? She said to me, oh, Chardi Kala means rising spirits. I'm like, okay, I got this. So next time she asked me how I was doing, I said, I got this. I'm going to be a good student, a good son. I'm going to say what I learned from my mom. So I said to her, Mom, I'm in Chardi Kala. But my mom didn't let me off the hook that easy. She then looked at me intently with that mom kind of stare and said, why? She wanted to test if I had learned the meaning. And I remember her saying it was rising spirit. So I said, oh, because I'm feeling good, I'm feeling positive, it's a nice sunny day out. She looked at me kind of disappointed. She shook her head. She said, no, you missed the point. That's not Chardi Kala. I'm like, okay, Mom, teach me the lesson. And she said to me, Chardi Kala is rising spirits, yes, but it's rising spirits when you're feeling down and out, when you're feeling against the odds, when you're up against hopeless barriers and obstacles, and you still dig deep and find the courageous optimism to push forward, that's Charti Kala. I was pretty blown away. I thought that was pretty deep. I was impressed, but I was also sad for a moment. So I thought about all the times and all the difficult times our family had gone through, and the fact that she'd always had to say Charti Kala because she was going through hopeless odds in her life. I think sometimes we feel like we're going against tough odds and we're going against barriers, and so I think we all need a little bit of Charti Kala in our challenges to go up against the odds, to fight against the Islamophobia, to fight against the divisive politics, to fight against this notion that we can't be a better country, we can't deliver the social programs that we need. So I wish you all Charti Kala in your struggles, in your journey. I wish you all courageous optimism. And I ask you this thing. I say to you and to all Canadians, if you give me a chance, if you give you Democrats a chance to build that better country where we are all moving forward together, where none of us are left behind, where we have the courage to realize our dreams, I promise you this, I will not let you down. Thank you. Thank you very much, my friends. Thank you to the Ontario New Democratic Party, the official opposition here in Ontario, fighting hard against those cuts from Doug Ford. Thank you, Maniza. Thank you, Ali. Thank you to everyone tonight. You've been a beautiful crowd. Thank you so much. Good luck. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, folks, our program is at an end. I have 3 names for those flights. So 3 sets of flights. I've got the names. This guy right here. So Flair Airlines, generous, donated 6 flights. So if I can please get to the stage, Miss Shahina Qureshi, Katerina Nishmento, I hope I have not mangled that, Katerina Nishmento, and Amina Jamal. Can I get you through this? Awesome. So all 3 of you, a pair of flights, clear flights, and we will get those certificates to you right after Maghrib prayers.
Guys, we're about to go to Maghrib prayers, but before we close the program, please remember that those donor cards that are on your table are not decorative pieces. Please fill them out. The boxes are moving around the hall. Please put your donor cards inside those boxes. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. I'm going to call up Hafiz Rahman for Adhan. Salah is being taken place in Hall D in the back. Salah in Hall D in the back. Please, thank you so much, and please make sure that you donate. Please make a contribution today before you leave. If you have double parked, there are 4 cars that are outside that have double parked. Please go move your cars. They're all Beamers. Thank you.
The party continues after Maghrib. We've got lots of food, mix and mingle. Everyone's sticking around, folks. The party continues after Maghrib. I know that doesn't sound the greatest, but there you go.
Absolutely, and please don't forget, our late night buffets are starting now, after Maghrib.